Classic Art Readers, Level 3. The Works of Edvard Munch. Copyright 2023. Seed Learning. All rights reserved. Introduction. Edvard Munch was a famous Norwegian painter. His paintings are known for their strong emotions and colors. If he sold one of his paintings, he would paint or draw it again. He often did many similar versions of the same painting or drawing. Some of Munch's earlier paintings are realism paintings. They show life in a real way. One example is Munch's small lake with boat. However, Munch had many different styles of painting throughout his life. Munch painted many different types of themes. He painted about love and death. He painted about emotions like being jealous too. An example of this is his painting Jealousy from 1907. Munch was famous for symbolism. Symbols are objects or things that represent an idea or meaning. One example of this is the scream. It represents the artist's emotions inside. Early life. Munch was born in the village of Adelsbruk in Norway in 1863. His family moved to Oslo when he was 3 years old. His father was a doctor. However, he did not make much money. For Munch's father, church and faith were very important, so he was very strict with his family. When Munch was young, he was often sick. He spent a lot of time at home in bed. He started to draw many different things. He copied other artists too. People were often sick in the Munch family. Sadly, both his mother and sister died at a young age. The sad emotions from this are seen in many of his paintings. When Munch was 5 years old, his mother died. His Aunt Karen moved in with the family that year. She helped his father to raise him and his siblings. In 1880, Munch went to study at the Royal School of Art and Design in Oslo. He met teachers there who encouraged him. An artist named Christian Krogh helped him develop as an artist and as a person. Munch lived with friends in the city. He learned about a different type of life. It was less strict than life with his family, so he enjoyed this freedom. Paintings and painting style. When he was 22, Munch went to Paris for a short visit. He learned a lot more about the world there. The artists in Paris were different from the artists in Norway, and they inspired him to paint in different ways. In the 1890s, Munch started to change his painting style. He used intense colors to try to show more emotions. The scream is an example of this. Melancholy is another example. Munch was influenced by painters such as Van Gogh and Gauguin. Like these painters, he wanted to show emotions in his work. Munch liked to draw the same idea many times. Many times after he sold a painting, he would then paint another just like it. The paintings were a little different each time. You can see 2 copies of the Dance of Life here. Notice all the similarities. Can you see the little differences between them? In fact, Munch painted melancholy many times. There are also several versions of the scream. One of the scream pastels sold for $120 million in 2012. An amazing amount of money. In 1892, Munch had an exhibition in Berlin. People had very different opinions about his art. After 1 week, the exhibition closed. Though it was only a week, Munch was happy because the exhibition gave him a lot of exposure. It was good for him to advertise his paintings. In 1908, Munch was not happy. He often argued with friends, and he felt a lot of stress. He went to a hospital to improve his health. Munch stayed there for 8 months. He exercised and ate well, and his health improved. After this, Munch's life became cleaner and healthier. He became more positive too. At this time, his painting style also changed, and he started drawing nature and the countryside. Later life. Munch's paintings changed throughout his life. He started with realistic paintings. Then he moved on to more intense colors that showed strong emotions. He later started painting more scenes of nature. Munch was much happier in his later life. His paintings were more positive and more popular. He even received a medal and became a Knight of the Order of St. Olaf. This was a great honor awarded to him by the King of Norway. In 1926, Munch bought an 11-acre piece of land. He lived there for the rest of his life. He spent a lot of time painting the countryside, including trees, the forest, animals, and the garden. Like Degas, Munch also liked to paint horses. The name of this place was Ekeli. It was often cold there in winter. Munch built a special art studio called the Winter Studio so he could paint throughout the year. When Munch died in January 1944, he left his art to the city of Oslo. Many of these paintings can be seen in the Munch Museum, which was opened in 1963. Today, people can visit his winter studio in Ekeli and even paint there. People who see Munch's art can easily connect with his feelings, even if those feelings were sad or scary. And many people say that looking at Munch's art allows them to understand and express their own feelings better. Munch's art has touched many lives, and he has also inspired many artists.